Hey, welcome to the Niche Podcast. This is a space that I created to explore businesses and the journey they take when catering to a niche market. So if you're feeling a little bit nichey today, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right. You have made it past the introduction, and I'm very grateful for that. Thanks for hanging out. I am your hostess, Renata Jernigan. I'm the one responsible for creating this niche space. Over the last 10 years, I have been in real estate, and I have created a niche business for myself. And I'm pretty passionate about it because I have come across some pretty amazing people and amazing businesses that cater to the same market that I do, but also have separated a small market for themselves to kind of differentiate themselves from the herd. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what I do, then we'll jump right into what it means to be niche, and if you actually, maybe it's for you, maybe you're thinking about creating a niche business, and I'll share a little bit about my journey, and hopefully it will inspire you to get your niche on. I moved to the United States about 20 years ago, and in 2008, I got my real estate license in the state of Florida. If you know anything about the real estate market, you know that in 2008, things were going bust. And the real estate market was actually crashing. If I wanted to survive in it, I knew that I needed to do something differently. All my colleagues were jumping ship, going and doing other things. And I thought, okay, well, what can I do? At that time, I worked in a real estate company that had a sports and entertainment division. So they had a division that was specifically designed to cater to athletes. I didn't have any athlete clients. I didn't know the first thing about catering to athletes in the real estate world. But I figured, you know what? This is actually here to me. Why don't I try to get into it? My broker at the time, who is unbelievable, I'm going to give him a little shout out because he rocks. His name is Ben Moss. My broker at the time would throw me a few bones, right? So he knew I was hungry. He knew I was young. I was starting out, and he wanted to kind of help out. And he had been in the business for quite some time. We were actually probably the same age, to be honest with you, but he had been in the business for a long time, and I was just a newbie. And he would actually allow me to assist. I was pretty hungry, and I would say, hey, Ben, what can I help you with? And he was successful at the time, so there were certain rentals that he didn't want to do. So I'd say, yeah, I'll do them for you. I would go and scout out the properties for the players. I would write the lease contract. I would handle the lease, whatever lease he got. It was not worth his time. But you know what? $1,500 was a big deal to me at the time. So I was like, yeah, I will do it for you. So that's how I got into the real estate world. That's how I got my first few connections, was number one, being in the right place at the right time and realizing that I had these resources available to me. So why not explore them, even if I didn't have an experience, like I figured I'm going to learn and I'm going to do the best that I can so that I can survive. And number two, exposing myself, putting myself out there and letting others know that this is the space I want to be in. Can I start at the bottom? And I will do everything that I can to work my way up. And my first client ever in the real estate business was a player with the Miami Dolphins. So when you start anything in that level of intensity, folks, there is absolutely nowhere but up to go from there, because I needed to bring my A game every single time because I knew I was catering to the VIP. And that is how I became a realtor to the NFL, MLB, NBA, and beyond. And that is how my niche business was born. I gotta tell everyone out there, if you're thinking about going nichey, this is how you need to have your perspective. You need to look at your business from a global point of view and realize that till now, I've been fishing in this enormous ocean. I've been casting my net into a huge ocean, trying to grab fish that everyone is also going after. Creating a niche business is looking out there and seeing that there is actually a few islands out in the outskirts, way out where most people are not willing to take their boats to, because it takes more gas, it takes more effort, it takes more time. And by the time you get there, guess what? You might actually not catch any fish. But when you do get there, you'll actually meet a few crazies that have been hanging out on that island for quite some time and have been building a market and a business for themselves. And if that's where you want to go, great, amazing, welcome to the club. But get your binoculars on, create a trajectory for yourself, because there's a space between where you are today and where you need to be. And that's in anything in life. So if you're on shore and you need to get to that island, create a map, create a strategy so that you can pace yourself and not die halfway through and not completely drown in the middle of the ocean, but you actually get to the other side. So I think that if you create a map and realize, okay, well, that's where I want to be, and it could be athletes, entertainers, doctors, lawyers, you name it. I don't know what business you are in, but if you do create something and you realize, you know what, I actually want to fish in the island, creating a map for yourself is the number one thing that you can do in order to ensure that you will succeed and get your business to where you want it to be. So number one, I think that you need to look around and realize, do I want to be nichy? Number two is getting a global sense of the market that you want to be in, and how can you position yourself to be at the right place at the right time, like I talked about in the beginning, so that you're able to take advantage of the resources available wherever you end up landing to get you to that point. And number three, creating a plan. So creating a plan, if you're at the right place and the right time, you have the resources, you realize you want to go niche, now you create a plan to get yourself from shore, from halfway, wherever it is that you are today, to that island. And I think that if you start doing that today, there's just absolutely no way to fail. And you keep at it, you keep going, you take it one day at a time. I've been doing this for 10 years. I understand the athlete market. I know what they need. I know how to cater to them. I know how to find them, and I know how to keep them as clients. So those are the things that you will learn along the way. There's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to pick yourself back up and keep going. But if you do, you will actually be able to sit from where I'm sitting now, and you're going to look at me and say, hey, Renata, we're actually hanging out on the same islands. That's going to be pretty groovy. Or I'm going to just see you on the island next door. Regardless, you are going to crush it. My intentions on this space is to bring amazing professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs that are killing it in the niche that they have decided to carve for themselves. Now, it's not all going to be professional athletes or entertainers. It's not just all going to be sports and entertainers. However, it's going to be in every space imaginable. People that have created a niche, that have carved it, and that have crushed it in the space that they're in. So I'm going to bring them onto this podcast, and we are going to talk about the journeys they took, why they decided to go nichy, and maybe they're going to inspire you to either go nichy or help you solve a problem that you're having in your business or in life. Because I think that in the age of social that we are living in, people don't want to see the front stage, the polished version of you anymore. They don't want to see the polished version of business anymore. They want to see what happens behind the scenes, what happens backstage, the real, the nitty gritty, the failures, the falls, so that we can all learn faster and get to where we need to be in a much quicker pace. That is what I hope you can take away from this podcast and from any future podcast. And everyone that is going to be in here are people that, in my eyes, absolutely crush it. So this is it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back. Get out there, chase your dreams, crush it, and stay nichy.